Good morning. It is a pleasure to be able to offer a few comments as your conference gets underway. I want to take a moment to commend the extraordinary work of the staff here at the Refugee Dream Center. These dedicated men and women have assisted countless people from all over the world as they find a new home in our state and our country, and I thank them for all that they do. Ours is a nation of immigrants, refugees, and dreamers. Our country was made strong by generations of people from all over the world who looked to the promise of the United States to create a better life for themselves and their families. We stand more united as a nation when we acknowledge and celebrate the shared aspirations that bring so many to our shores. While it is often easy to focus on what divides us, gatherings like the Northeast Refugee Conference serve to remind us of our shared humanity. We all want to see a better world for ourselves and our children, and it is in this spirit that we come here today to seek a way forward together. I wish you a productive conference and wish you well as you continue to assist those seeking a new life in the United States. Thank you.
I just wanted to call and invite Hadija from the UNHCR Refugee Congress to introduce us to what the Refugee Congress is about. Welcome, Hadija, and from the UNHCR Refugee Congress.
Well, good morning, everybody. I actually didn't know I was going to be saying. I know I was on the panel, but I didn't know I was going to say something about the Refugee Congress. Well, congratulations, Omar. This is a wonderful event. And sorry, I lost my brace, so I have to take 2K in with me. Anyway, so I'm Hadija Nyansekuye. I teach at Bridgewater State University in the School of Social Work, and I'm very pleased to be here. I'm also one of the founding members of what's known as the Refugee Congress. The Refugee Congress is literally a creation of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. And I have to give them a shout, give them a round of applause for me. Because as we were celebrating the 60th anniversary of the creation of the Geneva Convention in 1951 that created the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, one of the people working in Washington, D.C., Vincent Cochetel and other people in his office decided that it was really time to invite refugees so that they can be part of the discussion and the conversation about refugee issues and how to find solutions for refugees, by refugees, together with refugees doing the work. And so in 2011, together with many other people from different states, 60 refugees, former refugees, and stateless people were invited in Washington, D.C. for that first gathering. I remember getting there and being very excited first, being able to meet with other refugee fellows and other asylum seekers and asylees, and being very excited to be there. And the next thing I knew, they were asking us to shape the dialogue. They were asking us what we wanted to see happening. And I thought, I remember sitting in the meeting and asking the question, so what do you want us to do? That was to tell you that as refugees, as my predecessor have beautifully spoken. We are used to being spoken to, not to be listened to. And so it came as a surprise.
So, to the extent that not all refugees have equal access or reliable access to these kinds of information, we've discussed the idea of information precarity, which is a condition of having an insecure relationship to information, which is informed and shaped by race, class, and gender, and other factors that can lead to potentially further violence and exploitation. So information is key to these resources, not only in countries of first asylum like Jordan, where we conduct research, but also in third countries of resettlement like Germany, where we'll be continuing our research on information precarity and information empowerment this fall. The shift in global refugee conditions towards a heightened role for information harkens also a shift underway among those who work with and advocate for refugees. For example, we encountered a lot of UN officials and NGO officials, especially from the Norwegian Refugee Council, who told us that learning more about information sharing, how refugees share information, learning more about information networking was a vital part of their field operations. Accessing information is no less key to refugees seeking to secure food, housing, health, education, and employment in the United States. So now for the local dimensions. Especially in the context of the current refugee crisis and the constraints in which refugee case management typically ends 3 to 6 months after a refugee arrives, as it does with the Centria Care Alliance, an organization with whom I'm doing some needs assessment research right now with some students. Refugees' ability to access and avail themselves of reliable information is vital when your caseworker is no longer right there. One of my students who is here today, Tiara Yanian, is Tiara here? There she is in the back, has been conducting interviews with recently resettled Iraqi women as part of this needs assessment research. And the stories that she's been hearing and collecting are powerful illustrations of information gaps and the need for information empowerment. For example, Suad tells Tiara, as a family we struggled to secure food. Centria, the VOLAG, helped greatly at first. I appreciated every single thing they did for me, but after several months, refugees have to figure it out for themselves. Lamia explained that her SNAP benefits were denied due to a lack of a phone interview, and she didn't know she had to do a phone interview. She also didn't know that she could contest the denial. She received her Social Security disability insurance a full 1.5 years after applying. For those months without either Social Security or SNAP benefits, her family did not, quote, have enough to live, but she did not know her rights and she did not know her options. Gaps in information may be about one's fundamental rights as refugees in the United States, such as a right to retroactive payment for disability insurance, and the barriers to accessing information. The barriers to accessing such information may be administrative, they may be linguistic or other. But the gaps also might be specific to particular refugee populations, and this is crucial. For example, among young Iraqis with whom I've spent some time working and researching across the Northeast since 2010, one of the most urgent holes in information related to the question of recertification, how to apply for graduate school with an Iraqi degree, and how to get a job with no work experience in the US. Thus, information empowerment is not only a matter of communicating information from on high, from the VOLAG or from the community organization, one-way information sharing. It is also amplifying uniquely voiced concerns in the very conception and direction. It is amplifying refugees' uniquely voiced concerns in the very conception and direction of the assistance meant to help them. To that end, we, the community of refugee advocates, also need to appreciate and understand the existing information networks of which refugees are already a part, and the creative ways in which refugees already do seek out and translate information into action. In my previous work with Iraqi refugees in the Northeast, I found that information sharing was actually one of the basis for some of the most enduring small-scale communities in this corner of the diaspora. Information could also be the basis for some competition, but what was clear was that this organic examples of information sharing about job opportunities or graduate school was one building block of micro-communities, and this happened in a way that proximity or common life experience did not, and in a way that refugee advocates could not design. I think this has a few broader implications. First, it begs the question about the growing role of information technology in refugees' lives. It appears that the presence of information technology may be a double-edged sword. While it is as important as food and water to many who have been displaced from their homes, because it's a gateway to life-giving and life-saving information, it may also actually impede face-to-face information sharing. Thus, second, we, as refugee advocates, might do well to imagine our work as another kind of human gateway to information, and one which runs in two directions. Our work is shaped by and responsive to the articulated needs of small-scale communities as they emerge. This, rather than being responsible to or beholden to preconceptions of broad categories like Iraqi refugees writ large. This is quite a different view from assuming communities correspond naturally to a national or ethnic category in advance, let alone presuming what those communities might need. Finally, we would do well to imagine our work, as many of us do, as responsible to the unique and divergent voices of refugees who articulate those needs, even if that comes in tension with our other organizational and professional responsibilities, and even our personal commitments. Thank you very much.